Asante, asante sana. Tafadhali tuketi. Our spiritual fathers who are in the house today, our spiritual mothers, the clergy, fellow leaders who are here, good morning. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. This morning, I am overwhelmed by the love and by your presence. I want to join my wife in welcoming you to this residence once again, for those who are coming here another time, and welcome for those who are coming here for the first time. Karibuni sana. Let me thank the leadership of this meeting this morning, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi and the whole team, for putting this together. I remember when they shared with me their ideas, I did not think twice, and I told them, this is what we must do. So I am happy that today we have gathered here so that we can do the right thing. I also want to thank my wife for being a prayer warrior in our family. As you have heard, I have never had peace the last week, because on this Friday I was in our bedroom and I had shouts from downstairs, and I was wondering what the problem was. But then there was this water that was being brought. And I was being forced to drink this water. And I was wondering what was the problem. And it is true, we've had a borehole in our residence, private residence, that has had problems with the water. In fact, the water is black. But, you know, we have clean water. So I am a witness to this clean water. I want to thank all of you for taking the step to put the church in its rightful place. I have been worried as a Christian for a long time, because the church was timid, and the church did not want to take its rightful place. I am very happy that today I have partners, people who can defend our faith in Kenya. I want to tell you, I have never been ashamed. I have never been apologetic. I have never been neutral. I have always been on the side of God. I am happy that the church has said they too, they will not be neutral. And taking a position in line with your faith is standing for Christ. I know there is a lot of blackmail, there is a lot of threats and intimidation, and people don't know what will happen. But the Bible teaches us in Daniel 11:32, but those who know their God, they will be strong and they will do great exploits. Good people, we know our God. We know our God, so we can be strong. So, as was said, there are the church has its own interests, and politics is about interest. It's about interests. You vote for your interests. Everybody has interests. The church has its own interests. And when the church steps forward and says, we want to sign in our interests into the next government, it is the right thing to do. And I told the team that I do not have to read the interests of the church, because they are my interests. The first day they came here, I was ready to sign. They are the ones who delayed me. They said, wait a minute. Because the interests of our faith have not been on the table of the Republic of Kenya. For the first time, we will have the interests of our faith on the table. So, this is a very simple ceremony for me. It's a very simple ceremony for me. I want to thank God for my friends, many politicians, many leaders who have walked the journey together with us. We have walked this journey together. There are those we started with, there are those who came along the way, there are those who have arrived, and there are those on the way. And it is because we believe in God. Maybe I should just say two things. One, I want to tell you that there are many people who are fearful about what the deep state will do and what the so-called system will do. I want to tell you, God has already given us a manifestation. Let me give you a testimony. When we lost our member of parliament in Kiambaa, we had to have a by-election. My team, we had a candidate, very good candidate, whom we had worked with. We'd been together, and he was a good candidate and a very strong candidate. In fact, in the opinion polls that we did immediately after, when we were preparing for the by-election, he had approximately 70% of the vote. But when it came to the by-election, our candidate was bought. So our candidate went to the other side. And so we were left with no candidate. So we asked ourselves, so what do we do? Maybe some said, maybe we just forget about it. In any case, it's just 1 year. So let's just, organize ourselves for the next election. But other people said, no. Let's look for another candidate. So we looked around. We found one fellow who had run before. Then after a while, he again disappeared. Then we got another guy. But then there was this young man who was the briefcase carrier of our original candidate. So, and then this young man was saying, let us look for a candidate, but in the event that there is no candidate, I'm available. So I kept looking at him, and I was saying, no, it can't be this one. So let us continue looking. And finally, we were stranded. We didn't have a candidate. And then there was this young man, and he said, okay, if we decide as a party that we are not running a candidate, no problem. But if the party decides that there is no candidate, I'm available. So finally, we settled for the one who was available. And it was not an easy decision, because on the other side was our formidable candidate with 70% of the vote in our opinion polls, with a system on that side, with a deep state on that side, and everything that you would need to win an election on the other side. Now we had this young man with no experience, with no money, but he was available. I think Honorable Rigathi and all the people who are here know very well about that story. And Ndindi Nyoro is here. So we had a conversation. We said, surely, are we going to go to this election so that we are humiliated by the so-called system and deep state and what have you? But finally, we said, fine, we are going to go into this election. This young man had about 10% of the vote in our opinion polls. But you know what? God used that occasion to answer. God used that by-election to answer the question in your minds about the deep state and the system. God gave us victory. John Njuguna Kawanjiko won the election. You know, you were there. This good man was there. Yes, he comes from Kiambaa. Yes, that Kawanjiko won the election. So, have no fear. The system and the deep state will not steal our victory. We already have evidence that they don't have the capacity to do it. They would have done it in Kiambaa. Are we together? Yeah. So, God has already answered that question. That should not be a question that should bother you. Finally, as we were praying here this morning, God reminded me the words that it is not by might and it is not by power. It is by God's Spirit. So I am acutely aware that we may have formidable opponents, but we hold on to the word of God that it's not by might and it's not by power. We believe that it's going to be by God's Spirit that we will win this election. So I want to say thank you very much for coming this morning. We have an engagement in Nyamira later this morning, and that is why we have asked that we do this with a bit of haste. But where is the place to sign? Where?